Now, after watching Attack on Titan's most recent episode, there was some very interesting things in the episode, to say the least. But of all the interesting things to happen in the episode, among the most interesting is Hange's death. Why did this have to happen? But before we get into that, if you do enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for some more content. Let's get straight into it. The question remains, why did Hange have to die? When you're watching the episode, Hange's death seems something that's so unnatural here. It seems as if the author, the writers, the producers just wanted to kill off Hange. They needed this character dead and they couldn't figure out how to do it. Because when we're watching the episode, the scenario leading up to this, the situation that caused her death, first we have to rely on the fact that somehow Phlox survived overnight, half dead as he was, and managed to shoot bullets into this airplane. And then we're also relying on the fact that when these engineers say they can fix it, but it will take an hour, that this time period was crucial. It was crucial, and somebody needed to stop the wall titans, the colossal titans who were coming to stomp them out. Now let's look at the scene, right? So Hange immediately declares herself as the one to do it. She says that no, Armin, you are not going to stall these wall titans, colossal titans. I am going to do it. Now, why? Seriously, why? Why is Hange chosen here? We have probably the most powerful group of people who can transform into titans at our disposal, and they could all work as a team in order to delay these colossal titans for even, let's say, 5-10 minutes, because they all have these extraordinary powers. But let's choose one of the few people who don't have titan powers. Let's have them go and stall and essentially commit suicide, because that is what it was. Straight from the bat, everybody recognizes that she is going to die, and nobody offers a counterpoint. And this is very troubling, to say the least, because in the series, it's been built up that Armin is some sort of genius, right? He was saved over Erwin and recognized for his prowess as an intellect. But throughout this season, we're shown time and time again that Armin can't seem to make the right decision. There's been a few instances in the series where he has shown genius, yes, but he just stopped showing it. This is something that fizzled out, and we see this here, right? The first thing he says is, let me go and sacrifice myself, essentially. And then Hange essentially offers herself up as tribute, and Armin has essentially no response. He's frozen here. He doesn't respond at all. He just accepts what Hange says. He offers no counter plans. You don't need to be a genius to see where we could potentially go a different avenue here. Let's have Annie. Let's have Reiner. Let's have everybody who has a Titan ability contribute somehow. Even the most gifted sniper in the whole series, Gabby. Let's have this useless sack of meat contribute somehow. And I don't really understand their suggested reason for not being able to use the Titan's power of that they need to preserve their energy for the fight against Eren. There's multiple layers here. First of all, there doesn't seem to be any hard restrictions on Titans. There's been some rumors around that the Colossal Titan can only transform once per day and the other Titans can transform 3 times per day. But that's not a hard, fast rule. And also, we don't need to use the Colossal Titan. I'm pretty sure they could put their heads together to come up with some solution to at least thwart the Colossal Titans for 5 minutes or so at least. That doesn't require Hange going off and dying here. In fact, when we're watching Hange actually fight these titans, she doesn't even do it for a very long time. She initially goes in, knocks down one colossal titan, and this stops some other colossal titans. Now this stalled some time, yes, but why couldn't we use some other options, such as maybe laying down some type of wires or explosives to have that blow up the Colossal Titan's feet and have them trip up that way, instead of having one of our integral members, our literal squad leader of the scouts, which, their leadership was basically a joke after Erwin died, let's be realistic here, go out and essentially commit suicide once again. with any way you look at it, I mean, I just do not understand this. I mean, why did Hange do this? It seems like she just wanted to die, which is not something that's uncommon in the Attack on Titan universe. It seems like every single character just wants to die. Like, if death comes to them, they're going to die, except for Levi. I mean, you don't want to mess with that guy. That guy has some serious resilience. But every other character just wants to die. We see this with Hange when she goes out and commits this death mission that she did not have to commit. I mean, we are the scout squad. We are some of the brightest individuals here. We're going to stop Eren from destroying the majority of the world and massacring, genociding people. I mean, come on. We have to be able to come up with a better solution than let's have one of our members go and die like this. Going back to when Hange was fighting these colossal titans, I mean, the way she died to begin with was kind of bizarre because she essentially burns to death while she's flying around with the maneuver gear. And just to touch on something quickly, the fact that she has the maneuver gear and she wasn't able to escape at any point is kind of troubling as well, because this is not a death mission. You don't have to die here. Right? You can jump on the plane at the last second when you've delayed enough time. But the way that they fixed this is that they had her burn to death. So while she's flying around, if you recall earlier in the Attack on Titan seasons, Armin almost died a similar way when he was holding on to Bertholdt. But the difference here between Hange and Armin is Armin was significantly closer for a more significant period of time, and Bertholdt was dedicating all of his energy here to try and kill Armin, burn him to death. I mean, these colossal titans are essentially brainless, so they are just producing residual heat here. They aren't focusing all of their heat on Hange, right? They're not actively fighting her. They're just kind of walking. And also the fact that she is using maneuver gear to fly around and dissipate some of this heat. I mean, she's not always in the heat. I mean, it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense as to why she suddenly just ignited and burned to death. I mean, come on. This is a similar situation to Sasha, where they just need to kill off a character to make you feel some sort of deep emotional loss, right? They needed to make the episode dramatic in some way, or the story in some way. They needed to make it dramatic, so they ultimately killed off Hange for no reason. You could go into even deeper alternatives, such as they could have moved the airplane to a different location to thwart the path of the colossal titans. I mean, there's a lot of different options here, but they didn't take any of them. They just sort of watched her die. And I mean, this is kind of troubling, because I feel like Hange was an interesting character, right? The crazy scientist that is somehow strong and somehow became a leader when she has no characteristics of a leader at all. But I just feel like this was something that needed to be touched on. I mean, they did Hange dirty. But tell me what you think. Do you think Hange should have died this way? Do you think her death was justified? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for similar content. I will see you in the next video.